Gather round, friends, and let your souls be still, for I will tell you a tale that echoes through the hollows of cathedral vaults, a story woven from the golden skeins of faith bled red with wrath. His name was Honzo Zantao. Raised beneath the sun-shot stained glass of Everdawn's sanctuary, he was a child pledged to the radiant cause of the Dawn Father. Songs of devotion stitched themselves to his bones, hymns his earliest lullabies, holy vows his only inheritance. They say his hands were gentle enough to cradle miracles, his voice pure enough to break enchantments. But beneath all that silent virtue stirred something fearsome. His mother, an exiled barbarian of the Rhymewolf clan, had once whispered, "A river runs deepest where it hides a storm." Honzo's blood was such a river, gold on the surface, but shot through with wild rapids beneath. He grew in grace and discipline, excelling at prayer and healing, earning the trust of those sworn brothers and sisters who called the ancient sanctuary home. The temple's high priestess, Amuvel, guided him, her silver-gray hair and laughter lines belying a mind sharp as a sacred blade. At his side stood his chosen friends, Silwen, the elven paladin, unshakable as the dawn itself; Auric, dwarf inquisitor, a fierce protector with a voice rough as gravel; and Morel, a human acolyte whose rituals called forth shimmering motes of light in the darkest corners. Together, they upheld the Dawn Father's light in a land shadowed by doubt. Yet always, Honzo felt that wildness, a pulse beneath ritual and song. Sometimes in sparring matches, his vision blurred and the roar of a crowd, imagined ancestral, beat in his ears. Is the Holy Heart meant to rage? He would ask his reflection, sunlight casting fractured halos around his face. Can fury be faithful? One dawn, when mist still shrouded the cobblestones, fire tore through the sanctuary's hallowed halls. Robed figures, faces hidden in gold and bone masks, moved like shadows through the nave, blades glinting, voices chanting in an old tongue. Auric's bellow rose as an alarm, but was smothered by the clash of steel. Honzo dashed from his cell, heart hammering, sacred sigil leaping to his grip. The world tilted sideways, walls crumbling, incense thickening to choking smoke, screams spun into the rattling cadence of ritual slaughter. He found Amuvel kneeling in the ruins of the altar, blood blooming beneath her robes. Her hand pressed a fragment of a broken harp into Honzo's palm and, with her final breath, whispered, "The crown burns. The voice chooses both shadow and dawn. Walk with faith or fall to fury." Desperation tumbled into rage. Honzo's vision clouded crimson, his pulse thundering in his ears. The wild blood answered. In that shattered dawn, his prayers became roars. Holy light swelled and burned, but so too did wrath. Bone-masked assailants broke before him, neither prayer nor blade distinguishing one from the other. Morel's small hands pulled him back from the brink as the last attacker fell, her voice trembling. "Honzo, you're changing. What's happening to you?" He could offer no answer. As the sanctuary burned, a voice cut through the smoke, neither wholly male nor female, old as the ages yet close enough to cool his skin. "You will be both savior and destroyer. Yours is the wrath that chooses." The aftermath was silence. Out among the ruins, Honzo cradled the harp's shard to his chest. His friends gathered round, shaken, Silwen's armor scorched, her face streaked with ash. Auric clutching a charred holy symbol, swearing vengeance with every ragged breath. Morel's eyes wide, afraid yet full of belief. The world he'd known, the certainty of morning light, had crumbled. Only questions remained. Was the god's wrath not his to wield? Was fury a curse, or the last innocence of the wronged? Word spread swift, as these things do, of the sanctuary's fall and the survivor marked by divine wrath. Some call him apostate, others prophesy doom should he ever lift a blade again. The Inquisition sent its trackers. Old mentors' faces now peer through crosshairs of suspicion. Honzo's party is forced to flee, dawn after dawn, hiding in hollow crypts and windswept chapels, living on the knife edge between faith and exile. They became whispers in the land, a fugitive band bound by scars and secret hopes. Every night, Honzo's dreams are the same. The broken harp at his feet, a burning crown hovering above, and the voice, "You are my hand, both open and clenched. What will you choose?" The burden cleaves his soul. The wildness, once a tiny spark, now lurks just behind every stirring of devotion. Sometimes, Silwyn will kneel beside him at the campfire, laying a calming hand on his shoulder. "Your rage is not your shame," she says, "but your responsibility." Auric, gruff, still fiercely loyal, forges new symbols from melted silver. "We don't run from kin, Honzo, not even when they chase us." Yet in the dark, alone, Honzo whispers, "Does the sunrise forgive the night or simply burn it away?" Their journey leads them deeper into the tangled wilds, rumored to hold the tomb of Saint Valen, slayer of tyrants and peacebringers alike. Honzo seeks answers, or at least release from the tormenting dichotomy within. He and his friends unravel an ancient prophecy that the scion of two bloods will bear the shattered music of the gods, forging new order or plunging all into ruin's symphony. At every turn, the party is tested. Creatures of darkness lured by the scent of Honzo's wrath, desperate villagers who worship him as an avenging angel, and old friends forced to draw blades, unable to recognize the man he is becoming. When finally they reach the tomb, they are met by the Vestal of the Shadowed Lyre, a phantom guardian draped in a living cloak of raven feathers. The crypt's heart thrums with chords of grief and glory, memories carved in every stone. Here, the last trial unfolds. "To claim your fate," intones the Vestal, "you must break or bind the fury within. The gods made you both their shield and their storm." Ritual and rage wrestle within Honzo. As the battle for his soul rages, the tomb erupts around him, a cyclone of hymn and tempest. His friends form a circle, channeling their strength into a final prayer. "Dawn rises only after the darkest night. Turn your wrath to light, or we all are lost." Honzo's fist closes around the harp's shard, blood blooming across his palm. "I am not only your instrument," he declares to the voice, "but your reckoning. Let my fury be the justice you refuse." A blinding light cracks through the crypt, dispelling the shadows. The phantom shrieks, its song of sorrow dying at last. The shards of prophecy, harp and crown, fuse into a sigil of dawn fire in Honzo's chest. Exhausted, Honzo kneels among the ruins. The party gathers close, sharing tears and relief. Auric grins wide, his gravelly voice breaking into a laugh. Silwyn lays her blade at Honzo's feet. "Whatever you choose, we stand with you." Morel, ever gentle, wraps his hand in hers, steady and strong. "You are not alone." Honzo looks to the dawn cresting over broken stones, the light gilding every ruin and scar. "Let others fear the wrath of the gods," he murmurs, "for I have learned to wield it with mercy." What became of Honzo Zantao, weapon or healer, avenger or redeemer? That tale is still being written, each day his choice anew. And so when dawn's fires rise, it is not the gods who decide, but the hearts of those bold enough to walk the line. What would you choose, friends? Leave a comment, share your tale, or suggest a story, and perhaps it'll be the next we see at the tavern table.